I made a talking video, and at the time I was pretty sick, so it was even lower. And people were like, "Are you off your hormones? Because it seems that your voice is getting a little low. Like maybe you need to take a little bit more of that estrogen." And I'm like,
"Why would you like?
What's
what's
wrong with you? Like what? You're literally making my dysphoria like 10 times worse right now. Like."
Right.
I got a podcast!
Add to the no. Why, hello everyone! Everyone's applauding, everyone's screaming. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Literally Screaming. Woo! Everybody's screaming, crying, they're getting naked. Keep your clothes on, people.
No, please do. I'm serious.
No, please don't put them back on. Everybody, I would like to introduce a very close and dear friend of mine, Miss V. V, please say hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here.
Yes.
Today, me and V are just gonna welcome to like an actual FaceTime call that me and V are probably just gonna have in person.
This has been long awaited because like
we haven't seen each other. I didn't even know V moved here. Like, if I'm being honest.
Friend.
And I saw you at that Spotify event.
Yeah.
Ooh. Did you see Charlie XCX perform when
I
you went?
did. Okay, so Charlie XCX was actually like, we thought that it was just a track going on.
Oh.
So we were like, ooh, yes, this song is
We were
good.
like, yes, Charlie.
And then we realized that everybody was listening and like she was literally performing.
Oh.
So I was like, let me just shoop, and I went straight to the front.
I missed Charlie. Well, I want to get invited back to like other Spotify events.
Yeah, you
so
will.
I'm just going to say like in a hypothetical sense, right?
Yeah.
I was going to go see Charlie, but then I walked in and like the room was packed because everyone was like kind of rushing the stage before she even went on. So I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? Why don't I just get another drink? So I go and I get another drink. Actually, I'm not even joking. I stood on a line for 15 minutes, the longest line I've ever been on. And I went to the front and I said, hi, can I get a tequila Red Bull? And you know what they said to me? We sell cotton candy. Like I went on the wrong line. I was on the wrong line.
Why did you think that was the line?
I don't know. Like I saw a refrigerator. So I was like, ooh. And then I saw that not a vending machine. It was like one of those claw machines.
Yeah.
It was
you
broken.
Were still in those stuffed animals too.
Yeah. I have a whole bunch
Maybe
at
you won't
home.
get invited back to those Spotify events.
I felt so bad because there was like this really cute like photo wall with plushies all over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like you guys are just gonna like throw these away.
They were.
So
and did. Like they probably threw them away and did nothing with them. Like
I walked up to the back with the guy was like, want me to take a picture? And I was like, yeah, sure. And as he was walking back, I pulled on one of the stars.
No, yeah.
And I was like, cheese.
I wish I had the balls to do that. My friend Kendall, she literally just grabbed like 5 of them.
Kendall's crazy.
She is.
Did I ever tell you the time how? Okay, so we have a friend named Kendall, Kendall Raindrop.
Love her to death.
She is like actually with like, I was just telling V about this how. I feel like she is one of those people that she doesn't understand that she's funny because she's just so naturally funny.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I feel like whenever I laugh, she thinks I'm laughing at her, but I'm not. Like I'm laughing at what she's saying.
Yeah. So you're laughing at her.
And what she's saying, but yeah, no. But I remember like the first time I met her in person, we were at Tiger Heat.
Okay.
And I was there, you know, UK Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like, we have known each other I've known you since House Party.
Well, okay. The only reason me and Spencer have a connection with each other is literally because, well, I met them through Zaya, and we would just go on like House Party FaceTime calls.
And this was before COVID,
they
mind
were low-key scary. Like we would be reading each other for filth.
And yeah, we would. I feel like if any of those like House Party calls ever got leaked,
we definitely put each other through some trauma.
Yeah,
we took like everything.
It was like
reach.
It's like find your deepest insecurity, reach in there, pull it out, and like read it to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's all self-projection.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. And then I saw you at Playlist.
Yes.
You were at Playlist. I remember seeing you, and I forgot who you were with. Oh yeah, Kendall. The first time I met her, Joe from the UK was visiting, and it was for Halloween this year. And Joe brought a friend with him, and Kendall this girl was so shy. Like the friend Joe brought was not really like shy, but like not like crazy like all of us.
Okay.
So Kendall ran up to her and was like, "Come on, dance!" Dragged her onto this dance floor with just a whole bunch of gay men.
Oh my gosh.
And starts like,
"Is that Tiger Heat or Play?"
Tiger Heat.
Okay, I'm like,
Tiger
Playlist
Heat.
Live.
No,
They would not do this.
This was at Tiger Heat, and all I literally, I'm not joking. I turn. First of all, Kendall is gone with her. Like, I don't know where they went. I'm like looking for them, and I just
made a new friend.
I just see Kendall like grinding on her on the dance floor. She's like, "Come on!"
Yes,
Kendall's an icon.
Kendall is. She will make you live for your life any day, and she like lifts you up in a positive way too.
She really does.
Yeah.
She's like the last time. Well, I'll like see her when I go out, but the last time I was like with her in a group setting, we were at again, it was for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you the time where Kendall smacked me in the face?
No.
Like really hard.
She would never.
She did.
Oh, but she did.
It was for good reason.
Oh.
So
You were acting a fool?
yeah. So
Okay.
I was at I forget whose apartment I was at, but it was like a group of us.
Okay.
And you know, like before I was like in my, I guess like sobriety era,
Mm-hmm.
how like I would choke people when I was intoxicated.
I was not aware of this.
Oh.
But thank you. I can now use that against.
No, but like, okay, so I wouldn't like choke people. I'd be like, "Hey, you want to know what it's like to be in a chokehold?" And they'd be like, "Okay," and I would do it, and they'd be like, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah. Not them having a little kink for it.
Yeah, right. They were into it. They wanted it.
They're like, let me just experiment a little.
So I asked one of our friends if I could. I asked him, I said, "Can I put you in a chokehold?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So I put him in a chokehold, but I guess I didn't realize how hard I was going because he taps me and then was like, "Spencer, like you actually hurt me." And he got mad at me. And okay, I felt so bad.
Oh, no.
So bad. So I told him, I was like, "Slap me in the face as hard as you can." And he was like, "I can't." And I was like, "You know what? I'll find someone who can."
Yeah.
I could have asked anyone. I asked Kendall.
And Kendall did that.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been smacked in the face so hard in my life. I literally was like, "Kendall, smack me as hard as you can," thinking it'll be like a friendly slap. And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, slap me." She slapped me so hard that my ears started ringing and I saw stars. Like I literally grabbed the couch and I said,
Lord.
And Johnny forgave me.
It's the testosterone in us. I'm just like when we're off our hormones, we can be off the rocker, okay? Just saying, don't play with us too much.
She said, "Hold on."
Hold on.
I actually felt like I was like on another planet.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Well, I'm glad that's over for you.
I feel like
But did you enjoy it is the question.
the slap?
Yeah.
Like
It
I
sounds
wouldn't
like you didn't. I mean,
like, no. Like there's like a certain level of slap that I can take.
Yeah.
And that like I would want.
Okay.
But like that was like it. Let me just say this. If I were to ever get into any altercation with anyone and they were like, "Pull up, bring friends,"
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring friends. I'd bring a friend. I'd bring Kendall.
Okay.
And Kendall would wreck their shit.
No, she would do it all.
She would end them. Oh, also my friend Bree.
Really?
Bree's crazy, yeah.
I don't think I know Bree.
All I will say is that Bree once sent me a photo. She was out with her boyfriend, and Bree is another one of my like really close friends.
Okay.
And there was this one time where she was like texting me while out, and she was like, "Spencer, there's this girl here." I forget what like she had done, but they had like a past.
This is so like you have like a movie of a life. Like this is the type of stuff where they're like you literally get pranked about like I'm bringing my friend type thing.
She texted me and she was like, "Spencer, there's this girl here." I forget what the girl had done. Oh, she kept like flirting with her boyfriend.
Okay.
Even though this girl had her boyfriend there, she was flirting with Bree's boyfriend.
So violence
and
is
then,
the answer.
Yeah, and Bree was like, "Hold on, like you need to stop." And then she started like commenting on Bree's boyfriend and like commenting on Bree's appearance and like doing all this shit. And like Bree's like, "I love you, Bree," but Bree knows this. Bree's crazy.
Yeah.
And like Bree sent me Bree sent me a photo of her face and was like, "Spencer, if I need you, can you bail me out of jail?" And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "You only have a scratch on your face." And she was like, "Yeah, I have a scratch on my face.
Oh,
And then Brie
no.
sent me a photo like that. She sent me a photo like this, and it was like hair. So I'd bring Brie and Kendall.
Not the hair. She said, let me not.
Yeah, I can't. I joke. I feel like if I had. Okay, here's my thing. Do you ever in your brain like think you're a Matrix? You ever seen The Matrix?
I've never.
Okay, well, like in the.
I'm like so out of touch with pop culture. It's so bad.
It's okay. It's literally. Do you ever? Okay, so like when you. Because we live in the United States and we have school shootings.
Yes.
Did you ever, like, when you would have, like, your school shooter drill, like, in your head be like, oh, if a shooter ever walked in, I'd be able to beat him up? Or, like, have an elaborate plan in your head to, like, hide behind the door and then smash a vase over their head?
No, I'm the one who would be scared and, like, hide forever.
Oh, because...
But, I mean, tell me what would you do?
well, like, if there was, like, an actual shooter, I would be terrified and I would hide. But when I was, like, in school, I would have, like, scenarios in my head of like different things I could do when that time arised, and
it's
hopefully
sad
never
that we
did.
even have to like think about these
that
things,
yeah,
because it's like
again, I would also like to point out Marco Rubio. Don't like you. Let me make that very clear. But I just find it really funny how you're again trying to pass a law to ban TikTok. But you can't pass laws to ban automatic assault weaponry or regulate firearms. And we all know why, too, because the NRA funds your political campaigns.
Thank you.
Ate that up. Like,
Right.
I feel like the last, like, 2 episodes I've come for him because I don't like him.
No, as you should. No, we got to get our priorities in check.
That time Candace Owens posted me on her Twitter.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No way.
She posted me on her. It was a video.
I'm sorry, but have you seen that LGBTQ? But how about an H for heterosexual? You know what? I agree with guys getting.
I actually, speaking of, I'd like you to meet Jody.
Good Lord. Where did you come from, by the way? Like, wait, where were you from originally?
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay. So
and this was when I was in New Jersey. She put me on her story. Or not her story. She posted a video of me on Twitter and said, this is why we need real men in America, because you're growing she was like, you're growing boys up to be like this.
What?
And I think it was a video of me screaming, and then it was like a video of me screaming, and then like in that same clip it was like me in a skirt.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever like experience expressing yourself like outwardly in high school that way? No. Was it all after high school?
Well, like when I was in high school, we had like a dress code. Like I went to, and by dress code I mean uniforms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went to a vocational school, and I had to wear, like, even when we had they would call them like school spirit days, where you were allowed to wear whatever you wanted. Okay. But it really wasn't whatever you wanted. We had like a school,
like a strict guideline
accessory. Like it was like we had a store in our school that sold merch with our school emblem on it.
Okay, the influencers.
You could wear like our school sweater and our school sweats, but you couldn't wear like a random t-shirt and like random sweats. Like if it was like a spirit day, you had to dress up in school attire still. So I like never really had the chance to.
Yeah. I think for mine, I don't know. I was like one of the first trans kids, at least, to be there. So I was outwardly expressing myself no matter what.
And you ate that the up.
Thank you. But I don't know. I think they didn't have like strict, I guess you could say, dress codes. I think the most dress coded I ever got was in like late elementary and middle school. But I think they were just so afraid to stomp on my tracks, if that makes sense, because they didn't want to come off as like not accepting.
And they also, I feel like they were also like, if we say anything, lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And if they did say something, they're better. Like,
for sure.
I would, I didn't start like actually dressing comfortably like the way I dress now. Like you've seen me when we go out. Like I would have never worn that in high school.
Yeah.
And I hate that COVID happened.
Really?
But if it weren't for COVID, I would not be dressing the way I dress now, because I was trapped in a hotel room for like a month because our cable line was like snipped when I was home in New Jersey living with my mom. So then I was in a hotel for like a month. And while I was there, that's when I was like talking to Zaya, because Zaya was also either had just come out or it was like just starting estrogen.
Oh, okay. So getting on hormones.
Yeah,
and
she had just started
transition.
hormones. And I remember like I would be on FaceTime with her and I would tell her how I felt. I'd be like, I want to feel pretty. And she was like, I'll teach you how to do makeup.
That's amazing.
So Zaya, that's how me and Zaya got so close, because she would like teach me how to do makeup on FaceTime.
Wow.
And I would look a mess sometimes. And she would still be like, okay, yes. And she would like cheer me on. But then after a certain
everyone
point,
starts somewhere. So, you know, it's like you can't judge too early.
I think my favorite, after I recently just got into like contouring my nose and like actually like beating my face.
Yeah.
And I FaceTimed Zaya the first time I did it, and she was like, holy shit. She was like, if I pulled up a photo of you when you were trapped in that hotel room compared to now, she was like, the improvement. And I was like, I love you.
Aww. Yeah.
Have you like spoken to her?
Like recently?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's going a lot through her surgery right now.
Yeah.
So, and she had not, like, we typically just, like, call the group chat whenever we want to, just, like, all the trans girls, because we're just, like, all there for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we had not called it in so long, but she had just been, like, alone in her thoughts. Of course, she has her boyfriend, but, like, you know.
I feel like there's, like,
yeah,
you need people who understand.
Exactly, like,
it's
firsthand.
Exactly, yeah. It's like you can, I feel like her boyfriend can comfort her to an extent, but like you need like your trans sisters to like be there.
Exactly. And a lot of people do not have that community, so I'm glad we at least have each other. That's literally the reason like I feel comfortable to talk to my community today, because I met through all online. And I guess like through, even though those house party calls and FaceTime calls sometimes were a little brutal.
Yeah, I feel like we've grown up though.
Yeah, we've grown up. I feel like a lot of the times, like at least in the baby stages of being queer, we take out kind of our insecurities on each other. Mainly because we are trying to set up how we react to discrimination in the real world. And we can have that backbone, but like, where do you get it? And sometimes that is taking it out on each other.
Yeah.
But honestly, it has built like us all together, so
it's like
closely,
it made us, I feel like that also made
like
us a lot
family.
stronger. Yeah, like all of our bond, like I know we don't talk as often, but like when I see you, it's like right back where we left off.
Exactly.
And I was even gonna say, like with Zaya too, I call her as frequently as I can. But like with the whole time zone thing, like sometimes I'll call at 9 p.m. here, but it's 12 a.m. there, and she will answer, and then other times she won't.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and we all get busy. We have to make sure we take care of ourselves first.
I tell her all the time, I'm like, if you ever, because I know she has to get her surgery again, but I was telling her, I was like, if you ever need somewhere to go, and she knows this, like whenever she comes to LA, she stays with me.
Yeah.
And that's because like I always tell her, like, where are you gonna go? Like, don't get an Airbnb. Like,
no, don't.
You're staying with me. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know where I am. Are you close to me? Do you know?
No, I'm not close to you.
Okay.
But I'm basically, you could say, like, not far from everything. Like, everywhere is basically same distance. So I picked it in a place where it feels safe and I can separate myself from work.
Yeah.
Because recently, whenever I go to events, at least, I get in my head a lot. And, like, it's great to network with people. It's great to, like, you know, get yourself out there. But it makes me feel a little scared.
It's, like, draining, but it's also just, like, it's how do I put this? Like, it's really strange to me, at least, when you go to, like, influencer events, like that Spotify one, because it's, like, you realize that all the people there, not just you, are after the same thing. And it's just like you make these connections and those connections can become really good friends. They can become people who like uplift you. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to like make it sound like, oh, everything's competition. But like realistically, like in the entertainment industry, it's like I feel like there are tiers to everything and everyone always wants to be on top.
There is, yeah. It's just like, especially being like a tokenized person in the queer community, like a lot of people just compare you to whoever the next, like, I guess, trailblazer of the queer community is.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. Like, why can't we uplift each other and just, like, you know,
like it's like,
actually support each other instead of making it competition?
We're two different people. That's the thing. It's like, oh, how do you feel about, like, oh, this person now that they're, like, doing really well? I'm proud of them.
Me too.
Like, that's the thing. And I feel like
you'd be surprised how many of, like, the trans girls out there are literally helping each other with their video ideas to, you know, make sure that we can be vulnerable, to at least be okay after the fact of being vulnerable online, of sharing our stories, and then we can help each other, like, kind of rebuttal, like, comments, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, being vulnerable online is really hard. Like, at the end of the day, you're pitching yourself to these people, and you're really just trauma dumping on them. It's really bad.
I feel like what I, like, hated the most, especially, like, when you talk about, like, being vulnerable online. Remember when I had my body surgery?
Yes.
That was probably the worst period of my life, and I'm so grateful that I was able to have the surgery. Do not get me wrong. It's, like, probably one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Okay.
However, first of all, I had my wisdom teeth out, like, my freshman year of college, and then I had my surgery, I believe it was my junior year of college.
That's pretty young.
So when I had my, like, wisdom teeth out, I didn't know that you could get addicted to Oxy.
Oh.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did not know. And I wasn't, like, heavily addicted, but it was like it came to a point where, like, when my swelling had gone down, I still had Oxys left, and my mom had to, like, flush them down the toilet because I was like, I wanted them so bad.
Yeah.
And then when I was going through my surgery, I had to take Oxy again because of how much pain I was in. So I was then back on Oxy, was going through withdrawals. Then I had tubes coming out of my body, had to wear a full suit. I was going through a breakup.
Yeah.
I was getting canceled online at the same time. People were saying I was, mind you, I'm telling people, like, oh, I just underwent this, like, huge, like, transformative surgery, and people are like, you should sue your surgeon. You look like a door.
What?
Like,
what did you even get canceled for? Was it?
I got canceled.
I've been canceled 1,000 times.
Oh my God. I could sit here and tell you
and a lot of it is just miscommunication, or you literally just growing from your mistakes.
The one time I feel like I've gotten canceled, and it was just, like, kind of unwarranted, was when I did. Well, like, I laugh at it now because I'm like, yeah, I would bully me too.
Okay.
The Olivia Rodrigo "Good for You" spin.
Oh, I mean, it was cute. I thought it was a cute video when it first came out.
When it first came out, I was like, ooh, I like this. And then I turned into a tornado on Twitter. So
yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it's okay. You know, people on Twitter are brutal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They will make fun of you for anything. They'll take your insecurity that they see through the screen, and then boom, it's all over Twitter.
And you know what I find, like, you know what pisses me off too? The fact that, like, people will talk shit about me and other creators on Twitter, and it's like, you notice it, and then they're like, you'll have people defending you in the replies, and then they're like, oh, I didn't mean it in a mean way. Yeah. Like, I was just, like, shocked. Or, like, for example, the other day, I was on...
So passive-aggressive.
The other day I was on Twitter, and someone, like... So, yes, I have, like, a Tinder profile. Someone screenshot my Tinder profile, posted my Tinder profile on Twitter, and was like, oop, jump scare, and it got, like, 30K something likes. And it's like, if you're gonna make fun of me, make fun of me. But if you're gonna make fun of me and then you see people defending me, and then you're trying to, like, backtrack and be like, oh, it wasn't me making fun of him. It was just me being like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so surprised to see you on Twitter. No, bitch, you were calling me ugly. Yeah. And if you're gonna talk shit, at least have a backbone, because when people come after you because you're talking shit about me, and I get to sit here and be like, oh wow, like, thank you, girlies, in the replies.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, you can't. Don't sit there and act like. Don't sit there and change the intentions behind what you posted, because you know the intentions behind what you posted.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times when I was posting, I was also in high school, so I was avidly learning. I was so ignorant to the fact that, like, anything I could say, at least about my own community, was wrong. Because I was, like, speaking to my own experience. So I'd take I think I would post things kind of like a lot of out of context, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And back in the day, there's more so like a lot of context videos more than like long form videos on TikTok. So, you know, I kind of just like posted whatever I want, depending on what the trend was, made up a skit to whatever that fits my life.
Mm-hmm.
And people would take it out of context, run with it on Twitter.
Yep.
And so it's just like, it gets frustrating because people don't understand you and misunderstand you on purpose.
I feel like people, when they do not like you, especially when you're when you're in this creator space, if they don't like you, they will look for reasons not to like you.
Yes.
And one of the main ways they can come after you is by taking an innocent video and taking it out of context.
My mistake is literally like apologizing for things that I don't think is my fault at all.
I once made a video, oh my gosh, it was on, I forgot what day it was, but I made a video and people in my comments, I remember I made a video, like I had just had like an entire thing of cold brew and I made a video of me like talking really, really fast.
Okay.
And people were like, oh, not you making fun of people with ADHD.
What?
And I also made a video talking about this one
Ever
time.
thought maybe they have ADHD?
And then there was a time where I made a video talking about how like, it was something about like social cues or like saying certain things.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, people who are neurodivergent like have that issue. And I was like, that's why I made this video, because I have that issue.
Yeah.
Here's a pill bottle that I'm prescribed by a psychiatrist for my ADHD.
And like, I don't know, just everybody is going through something different, and whether that's on the outside of your appearance or not, you don't have to like blatantly scream it, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like that's what, even when like, I don't talk about this a lot, but like my video when I came out as gender fluid, like there was like an audio on TikTok and it was for like gender fluid trans individuals, and I used it just to like participate in the trend. Like I didn't want to come out yet, but I was just like participating in it.
Yeah. It's a good way of
I feel like at the
self-expression.
time I should have understood like, oh, like if this is for like trans and gender fluid individuals, people are gonna like question you.
Yeah.
But people were like coming at me in my comments, so I had to make a video coming out and basically being like, hey,
there's been so many times where people are forced to come out,
and it's because like, you know, like you had good intentions. It's just fact of the matter is other people don't.
Yeah. And it's like you can't express yourself, and that puts you more in the closet, if that makes sense. Because
Yes.
it's like, well, now I feel scared to come
out
out
because all these people are like, oh,
Yeah.
like, what's your problem? What's this? And then you're like, oh, great.
No, because now I have to explain every single little last detail of my life.
Exactly.
No, I don't owe anything to you, which is just ugh.
I feel like that's another thing with like being online. Like everyone thinks that when you're online and when you're an influencer, your life is like an open door, and
Yeah.
people are in that like same breath entitled to I guess like misconstrue and take things out of context and also say things to you as if they personally know you.
Yeah. And that is so bad when it comes to comments, because it's like everybody reads something a different way. And so you need to like be clear with your intentions at least. Like we need some, I don't know.
Like I've had people like DM me and be like, hey, stupid, ugly bitch. And I'm like, okay. I literally sit there and I'm like, look, like this would be like a little laughy laugh if like I knew you, but like you're in my DMs being like, hey, stupid, fat, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? A simple like, hey, hi would definitely suffice.
Yeah.
What about like,
Let's
how
get
are
to know
you?
each other before
Yeah.
we start joking with each other. Like, I don't know.
People online, people who are chronically online, no.
It's at the same time, like, I also understand it because we share so much with the internet that it's like, yes, we're essentially like sharing our lives to kind of help others that are also going through
What we go through.
Exactly. But, you know, that doesn't always mean that like we're your best friend. But at the same time, like
I feel like saying that again, because I don't want this to get taken out of context.
Exactly.
When we say that, we don't mean it in a way of like, oh, we don't appreciate you, or oh, we don't love all of you.
Yes.
We're saying that yes, you have a look into our lives, but
But there's always
there's
boundaries.
so much more, and there are
Yeah.
boundaries.
Mhm.
Like there is a lot more to our lives than what you see
Yeah.
online.
Exactly. Like, for example, I recently have been a little off my hormones.
Okay.
I've been kind of insecure about it because I did have like a little bit of a voice drop.
Oh.
People comment about it. Like, I wasn't even posting about it at all. Like, I made a talking video, and at the time I was pretty sick, so it was even lower. And people are like, "Are you off your hormones? Because it seems that your voice is getting a little low. Like, maybe you need to take a little bit more of that estrogen." And I'm like,
Why would you like?
what
what's
is wrong with
you?
Like, what? You're literally making my dysphoria like 10 times worse right now. Like, and I don't know. It's just like,
And then I feel like that's also like the last thing you should probably say to anyone. And like
Exactly.
also, it's none of your damn business.
No, it's not. And it's just like, I get that you may be going through some things when it comes to hormones, but like, if you're going through that, don't you have a sensitive side to that too? And shouldn't you be more understanding to somebody who's vulnerably
Or
That's-
like the
yeah.
vulnerable on the internet.
yeah,
like,
somebody
online.
who's putting themselves out there like that. It's not just like a speech that they're putting out. It's literally like our lives. And so, I don't know.
I just this like whole this whole conversation about like people again. How do I even put this? First of all, I'm sorry that people have said that. That's
Yeah,
weird.
It's weird, but
Second of all, I feel like that also again ties in with the fact that like people get too comfortable with creators that they like. And again, that's not bad. If you're comfortable, that's good. We want you to be comfortable watching us at least, but we don't want you to be comfortable to the point where like you say things in the comments or like DM us certain things that are just like
coming for our insecurities.
crossing a boundary.
Yeah.
that-
There's just things that it's like human decency at
It's
some
like if you
point.
wouldn't say it to a stranger,
Why would you say
why
it
would
to
you say it to
us?
us? And it's like, I get it. Like, oh, your life is kind of on the internet. Yeah. But if you met me in person, you would now have a different feel as to who I am, you
Yeah.
know?
For sure.
Like, there's a difference between, like, I feel like the internet only gets a certain speck of who we are as people. And it's like, it's still us, but it's just like a part of us. There are things that we don't want you to see, you know?
I agree.
And I feel like people automatically assume that because we're so vulnerable, like they have seen me cry at least. They've seen me do, or like they see me go through like surgery. They're like, oh, I've seen you in like bad states of mind and this and the third. So like, I'm comfortable enough to say certain things, but it's like, but you didn't see it all.
Yeah.
You saw glimpses of
For
those things
sure.
happening.
I think it transfers to people who also don't do social media in their normal day life. Like, I personally haven't been opening up on social media as much lately. More so creating a boundary for myself, mainly because I'm going through a lot right now. I just moved to Los Angeles. Like, I'm still
That is like a lot.
gaining my independence. I'm, sometimes going out, experiencing like what my tolerance is for things, and like, it's just, I don't know. I'm learning a lot about myself, and that takes mistakes before you learn. And it's like, I don't know. A lot of people can look at you online, see that you're happy, but behind the scenes, sometimes it's just faking a smile.
Did I ever tell you about what it was like when I first moved here?
No.
When I first moved here, guys, this is like actually like, I don't think I've ever said this. I'm gonna get like, this is like trauma dump vulnerable right now.
It's okay. This is a good space to do
when
so.
I first moved, it was like my taste of independence. Like it was like mind you, when I started university, when I started college, lockdown happened.
Okay.
So like I didn't sleep in dorms. I went to community college my first 2 years, and then I transferred online.
Damn.
So it was like I was home. If I wasn't working, I was home all the time. I wasn't 21. I couldn't like go out and do things. I didn't have my own car. I moved here, had my own car, turned 21. Like I was able to do all these things that I wasn't able to do at home. And it felt like I went away to university and every day was just like a party. And I started like drinking a lot here. Oh my God. Like you go to a party and it's just like, oh, open bar.
Yeah.
Or like you go out with your friends and it's like, someone's like, let me buy you a drink. And it was like, I was going out too much, like way too much.
Yeah.
And it had gone to a point where I realized I had a problem because there was this one night. This was the first and last time I ever blacked out. I woke up at 5 a.m. in downtown LA on a sidewalk.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to call an Uber home. I got home, and on the car ride home, I called my mom sobbing.
Yeah. It's the saddest thing is that you really only have yourself. Like and especially just moving here, the people that you thought were so close to you are not
what you think
like,
they are. Yeah.
Yes, we can be distant friends. Yes, we can have each other. But are you that person that's going to be like, I call you up, can you help me out?
That's the thing.
You have to help yourself out. And you have to hold yourself
especially,
accountable.
And how long did I didn't go out for like 3 months, and my friends kept asking me like where I was, and I was like, I'm home and I'm like sober and I'm not doing anything. I'm not drinking. Nope.
It's good you set your boundaries.
I eased my way back into it, and like now I'm good. But like when I first moved here, like I understand. It's like it's almost like also, I don't know if you feel this way still, but when you move here, at least for like the first month or two for me, it felt like I was staying at an Airbnb and not my own apartment.
That's how I feel right now. I literally have like a mattress and a bunch of unbuilt furniture.
I'm telling you, the minute I got my sofa, like the minute I got my couch, and then like I actually set up my you were there.
I
like
was there.
When I first got my apartment.
Spencer first moved here, I can account that I was taking videos in their house.
It literally,
but
it was
like an open
empty.
studio.
It was like it was echoey. Like you walked in, it was like blank walls.
Yeah.
When you were there, I didn't even have my boxes yet from
no,
home.
No,
I
just had your room set up.
I had a mattress on the floor and a suitcase.
Yeah.
That's all I had. And by the time you came back a second time, like my house, like not my,
it looks damn good now.
It looks good.
You got like them bookshelves and everything. I like it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it takes so much time to like actually get like
settled in.
But once you're there, it's like
you grow so much anticipation of like, I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to get my life started. And when you actually get there, it's like, oh, I have to do it now.
That's what, I also will say this too. When I first got here, it felt like, how do I put this? Like, it was like I was here and I was having fun. It got to a point where I was like no longer having fun. It became like a problem. But like in the beginning, at least for me, it was like, I want to keep having as much fun as I can because I know when I stop, I'm going to have to start like actually going after what I want.
For sure.
Got this Moldavite necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Set in stone.
You honestly have to not get in the party scene too. And
I stay home now. I play Minecraft at home all the time.
And learn how to hang out with people when it comes to literally just like maybe going to lunch or just like
going to a nice dinner.
A nice dinner where it isn't just like the main thing is alcohol or, you know,
like partying.
We can make a puzzle together. I don't care. Let's go shopping.
Do you want to start a book club?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I literally can I?
Yeah, tell me. I don't read a lot, but I mean,
I read like crazy. I actually was like, everyone, like at least like my close friends, like very, very close. And by very close, I mean they live in the same apartment complex as me. So I see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They hate reading. And I remember the other day I went like to Emmy's apartment and I was like, I brought a book and I'm going to read it for all of you. And they were like, no, put it away. Like, we don't want to listen. Like, we don't want to read. And I just finished, oh my gosh, I read Misery. Then I read The Haunting of Hill House. Okay. Then I read... It's about this girl who kills herself.
Oh, no.
I forgot the title, though. It's called The Midnight Library.
Oh, okay.
And it's about this girl, and she kills herself. Like, her life is just actually shit. Like, the first few chapters, it's like 19 years before her name kills herself. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a week before she kills herself. And then it, like, leads down to, like, the hours as you keep reading.
So kind of the thought process.
And then she attempts to kill herself. But in the book... She overdoses on her antidepressants, but she's not dead yet. She enters this place called the Midnight Library, where like her physical body isn't there, but she's there.
Oh.
And the Midnight Library is essentially all the books there are books of her life if she had made different decisions. So she has the chance, like, okay, for example, when she was younger.
That's great for other people to read.
She was like, oh my gosh, like when she was younger, she wanted to be an Olympic swimmer. She ended up not doing it because it stressed her out too much. So at one point she says, I want to enter the life I would have had if I had been an Olympian, like if I had been an Olympic swimmer. So she finds the book, opens it, and she gets transported into that life. And then she hates it. So what does she do? She leaves. And then she has the same chance to do it with like every other decision she's ever made in her life.
Yeah. And you can do that in a normal life.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then at the end of the book, well, are you going to read it?
I don't know. I might do a little audiobook. I'm a slow reader.
Oh, I'll be honest. Can I just spoil the ending for you?
Okay, just do it.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to spoil it.
Yeah.
So. And if you want to read this
spoilers
book,
ahead.
Spoilers ahead, literally, like big ass warning label, like It's basically at the end of the book, she comes back to the Midnight Library, and whenever she gets like really, really upset, whenever she like, how do I put this? The way that it works is like if she's living a life, right? If she really enjoys living that life, she becomes that person. So it's like her soul becomes one with that version of herself because it's like that's already her. Now she's a part of that person. And at the end of the book, she ends up living this life for I think about like a few weeks. And this one day she ends up waking back up in the Midnight Library, and she was like, no, I want to go back. Like that was the life for me. I want to go back. But the rule is once you're out of that life, you can't go back in. So the library starts burning down.
What?
And she's like, no, like I want to live. I want to live now. So you know what she does? She finds a book. There's only one book in the library that doesn't burn. And the book is the only book with a title on it. And it's titled Future. And she writes in it, I'm alive. And she wakes up throwing up in her bed, the one that she tried to kill herself in. Wow. And then she ends up going to the hospital. And then her life kind of like comes full circle and it gets better in the end, like her actual life. Wow. But it is so good.
That's beautiful.
If it gets turned into a movie, cast me, thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're like, this is literally me in a box.
I'm like, yes, I'm that girl. Yeah. Oh, do you want to play Two Truths and a Lie?
Yes.
Did you write yours down earlier?
I did write mine down.
I wrote mine down earlier too. Okay. Tell me your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay. My first one is I've been doing social media since 2016. I used to own every pair of Crocs that they had like a color available. And I used to play ukulele.
The last one?
No.
Which one was it?
I used to own every pair of Crocs.
You know what's so crazy to me? I literally was like, that's so unbelievable, but it's also so believable when it like I feel like
call me right now. I literally have me in middle school, me playing it, and it's like a call me back tone.
Oh my gosh, wait. Hang up, yeah. Okay, you ate this.
Those are my Billie Eilish.
Oh! How to hang up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
are you ready to guess mine?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, I broke my wrist at summer camp, and my friends left me to go swimming.
What?
The longest surgery I had was 6 hours.
Okay.
And I memorized all the words to Fergalicious before my freshman year of high school because it calmed my nerves.
Fergalicious?
That's the truth.
What? You did that?
Yeah, I did. I actually, okay, another reason why I probably didn't have a lot of friends in high school, aside from the fact that I walked around with a stick named Sherman. Oh, I would actually, like, I would walk down the hallways. No,
they were that kid.
Yeah, no, I was that kid. Like, it's like, I would walk down the hallways, wouldn't have any earbuds in, and I would actually be whispering the lyrics to Fergalicious to myself because I was always so anxious.
Okay, I want to hear more about, like, what you were like in high school, but...
Tell me the lie.
Tell me what the lie was.
The longest surgery I had was 6 hours. It was 8.
Oh wow, dang.
My stomach surgery.
Not even longer.
It was 8 hours. I was out. That was also the first time I ever had a catheter. Do you know what a catheter is?
Yes.
If you don't know what a catheter is, I'm not gonna tell you to look it up. But if you do look it up, it was on your own accord. Let me tell you something. I need you to imagine me waking up from anesthesia.
Oh, no.
So I'm waking up from this anesthesia. I didn't even know I had one in. By the way, I signed I signed a contract basically stating like, oh, I know this is happening to me, but I didn't read the contract. I was like, I just want the surgery. So I did have a catheter inside me. And long story short, the nurse literally rubbed my leg and was like, you're going to feel a light sting. Bitch, that was not a sting. It felt like it felt like I was peeing out molten lava.
Electrocuted?
Like literally, I felt like I had molten lava coming out of me, and I literally was like, and I was like on so many pain medication, because I just got out of surgery, so I'm off of anesthesia, off of pain medication. I can only imagine what that would have felt like if I didn't have any medication in my system. No. I probably would have passed out from the pain. See, this is why, I personally, I am so glad that, for me, myself, I know for a fact that, if I was probably up in heaven with God, and this is probably why I have, gender dysphoria.
What?
No, listen. I was talking to God, right? And I was like, OMG, I want to be a girly girl, but I also, want to be a boy. And then God was like, well, imagine pushing out an 8-ounce baby from your vajay. And I was like, never mind. Just give me the dysphoria.
Yeah, I'll be both.
Yeah, I'll be both.
What I want.
I can't think.
No, literally, the only other time I've related to a surgery on that level is getting my teeth, literally pulled out with, little anesthesia.
Oh. Yeah. Wait, were you awake?
Yeah. They don't put you under full anesthesia. At least my doctor. So
my doctor didn't. Wait, for your wisdom teeth? Or
yeah. Well, I haven't done my wisdom teeth yet, which I need to do. But
when you got your wisdom teeth out, you tell those bitches to clock you out, because I was awake for mine.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. No, I need to not make that mistake.
Yeah, don't.
No, but yeah, I had to get 4 teeth pulled out because my teeth used to be
You want to share photos of what our teeth used to look like?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh
okay.
my Lord. Okay.
I like to tell people before I show them the photo that
my teeth used to be Mitch Match. They were everywhere. Train tracks needed.
No, literally my teeth, they were playing crisscross with each other. They
How are
were,
you with your retainer? Are you traumatized?
Every night.
Oh, I've made the mistake of I didn't go on it for 3 months, and yeah, my teeth shifted back a little bit. So I think I have to get Invisalign.
It's here's my thing. Your teeth still look straight.
Okay.
You'll when I show you this photo, you'll be like, I get why you need to wear it.
There's this feeling of when your teeth are shifting back though, that it's literally, I cannot. It feels. Oh.
This is what Carrie airdropped to me.
I was like, this is not the teeth.
So Carrie is one of the people behind the scenes that helps make this show happen. And just so you all know the type of vibes that we have here at the Past Your Bedtime Studios, I was just sitting innocently on a couch, and Carrie airdrops me a photo, and it is of Lord Farquaad from Shrek with Harry Styles' face.
Do we have do you know about the Harry Styles theory of bald?
He's bald?
Apparently everybody thinks that he lost all of his hair and wears a lace front.
All right.
But he hides it. And then there's interviews where it's hey, basically they're asking all the One Direction crew if everybody who is most likely to go bald. He'd be like, me. And so it makes people want to confirm that he actually has no hair.
Okay, guys. So if you're watching this and you're a Harry Styles stan, don't get mad at us for saying that Harry Styles might be bald, because balding is genetic.
It's genetic. And I'm not even
the way that cut you off, the way you were mid-sentence and I showed you this photo and you gasped.
Ooh. How did you get the
okay, so if you are only listening to this podcast, not watching, how can I describe this to you? My 2 front teeth were overlapping my bottom teeth. The 2 teeth, one on the right side of my front tooth, one on the left side of my front tooth. My 2 front teeth, the one on the left, the one on the right, the teeth next to them were behind my bottom teeth. Then my canines were up in my gums. And then my bottom teeth were just as, I need you all to imagine what it would look like if, God took a jackhammer to your mouth when you were going through puberty, because that's what it looks like.
Did you have to like have a lot of rubber bands for that to like get that whole like teeth moving down process?
So when I first, you know how when you get your braces on, they put the wire in?
Yeah.
So when I first got my braces on, I had no wire on these teeth.
Oh.
I had rubber bands.
Oh.
So the rubber bands pulled them down until they were able to be in the wire to like
Okay.
align them with my
So
teeth.
there's a lot of cooperation on your part.
Oh yeah, I had braces for 6 years.
Wow. I can't find a good photo. Let me. Okay. This is as best as it gets. It's not
Like it's
too
not
bad. But okay, the bottom teeth were like, they were just like mismatch of each other. I think it's a genetic thing with my dad. But you know, I looked like, kind of like a cute little vampire. Like
That, yeah. When I got, though, I literally, guys, this is actually kind of like messed up. I wanted like vampire teeth.
Oh my
Like I
God.
wanted vampire fangs so bad.
Baby,
So
you had them.
I
Okay, go on. I'm not leaving the set yet.
someone
Did you really
call an
need to go get
ambulance.
new ones? Like,
You said they were growing in.
They were growing in, baby.
in. They were.
surprised you weren't sucking blood out of nobody. Like, what's those ones?
Lord, oh my God, the way you just ate me up on my own.
Okay, that
footstool.
was too easy though.
No,
It
that was
easy.
actually really easy.
It was easy.
But
Okay.
I want to, okay, so like, how do I put this? I wanted fangs, but like the ones that weren't all the way up here, the ones that like went down more.
Okay.
So when my orthodontist was literally like, you don't need rubber bands anymore. And I said, okay, thank you. I still wore rubber bands like every day.
Really?
Yeah, I wore them, and I did like, I would do like, I used to have like the really like strong ones. So I would just like do like a simple triangle. But then when I ran out of the strong ones, I went to like the really elastic ones, and I would double it, and I would go like up and over. So my like canines would go down more. And I'm not joking. Don't get me wrong. Ortho, you did a great job. Love you for that. You like actually changed my life.
Slayed.
But I know for a fact that if I didn't put in that hard work with those rubber bands on my canines,
Yeah.
I
It
wouldn't-
wasn't all you, baby.
I wouldn't have these.
But I was asking you,
Mm-hmm.
what were you like in high school? I'm actually really interested. Not that like high school defines who you are like internally now, but like, because I feel like it's like a forced trapped hell where you basically literally have to just be there upon your will, essentially.
So, how do I even explain myself? Like, I was a theater kid.
Okay.
I feel like my when I was like freshman, sophomore, that's when I was probably
I
the
really
most
wish
awkward.
I was a theater kid. Like, I wish I went for it, but I'll get into myself a little bit later. But I went for like dance class, choir.
I
so.
did dance and choir too.
Okay.
But like because I went to a trade school, my I guess like college course all 4 years was performing arts, but I was able to do like dance club and choir.
Okay.
But I was just really awkward. I wasn't very social.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess around like my junior year, I started making more friends, but it wasn't intentional. It was because I would just like say things in class,
Mm-hmm.
and people would laugh. And I wasn't like being a class clown. Like my teachers would laugh too. I'd laugh too. I'd like raise my hand.
Okay.
I just sounded like a DJ track. I said laugh too. But I just like, I remember like my teachers would say stuff, and I just would like, it wasn't intentional, but I'd be in class and I'd be like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd be like, what's going on? And I would just like, I would joke around. Like when it came to like doing group stuff, like I would mostly do all the work, but I was also like the type of person that would like joke around, and I don't know.
You have the best of both worlds.
And because I actually, not gonna lie,
I think that it's like it kind of reflects in the content you were doing during high school and content at the same time, because you were able to kind of make you doing work a relatable thing at the same time while simultaneously getting your work done.
and
You're a smart person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think one of the best decisions I ever made was doing theater all throughout high school.
Really?
Yeah, because we like our theater department. I don't mean to like toot our own horn. Like, it was good. We had our own black box.
Okay.
We had a full auditorium.
I gotta see one of these
like
shows.
1,000. I believe it sat like 900 people. The auditorium. Like, it was like. And because I was in so many shows, and because like here's how it worked. Like, we were in like as like a theater kid, like in the theater program, you wanted to go out of your way to tell your friends in other classes, like, oh, you should come to our show. But I didn't really have that many friends, so I would literally tell no one to come until like I was maybe a junior or a senior.
Okay.
But I remember when I was in my junior year of high school, one of the first friends I made, her name was Ashley, and she was one of my close friends' girlfriend.
Okay.
And she was like, oh my gosh, like, you're so funny. I loved watching you in all the shows you were in. And that's what started our friendship.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel so good because I was like, OMG, I'm
validated?
making friends. And it got to a point where people would be like, oh, we know you from like the one act plays, or like, we know you because you were in the school musical. And that was like how people would start talking to me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh.
How does like at least being recognized on such a large level feel now? Because in a sense, you kind of felt invisible in a way. Like, before making friends?
Here's the thing, like, my shop, I would say, like, the people that were in, like, my trade class, I was close with some of them, but, like, we were all friends in my shop class.
Okay.
It was, like, the actual, like, courses, like math, English, science. I didn't make friends in those classes. It was, like, I relied on all my friends in shop. But I don't know. I feel like now that I'm on like social media and people like they approach me, at first it felt like I felt really awkward. It felt like I was in high school again. Like I feel like it felt awkward because when I was starting to get bigger on TikTok, I was working at Starbucks still.
Yeah.
So while I was there, people would stop in the drive-thru and stop the line to get a picture with me. And my manager would have to tell me to go into the back.
Wow.
Or we would have people who would wait outside.
Wow.
And they'd go to the speaker window. Like, they go to like the speaker where you order at the drive-thru, and they would say, can we take a photo with Spencer? And my manager or shift supervisor would be like, no, Spencer's working. And then they would be like, when does he have a break? And they'd be like, we can't tell you. And they would wait for me to go on break. I remember one day it was like, and
that's amazing, honestly, though.
But it was really nice. But at the same time, because I was like kind of getting in trouble at work, because they were like, you post content at work. And I never explicitly said which Starbucks I worked at, but it was like, you see my face at a Starbucks, you know it's me.
Yeah.
So like, at one point, I wasn't even allowed to like be on register.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't allowed to take people's orders because they wouldn't hear my voice in the talking thing, so I could only make drinks.
Wow.
So I felt really awkward at first. And then when I quit,
that's some celebrity type shit.
But then when I quit, I was like, yeah, I felt really nice too, because I was like, damn, like this, it felt good at least. But it still felt like awkward because I was like working, kind of getting in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, at least, I grew up in the sense where, like, I made a lot of friends at a young age. I had one friend that I made, like, pre-transition, and she stuck with me till, like, I guess you could say she introduced me, like, in 5th grade to all of her friends, which were all of my friends growing up. So in that period of time, I didn't really have, like, a solid, like, friend that I could go to. I had, like, maybe one, and yeah, I just couldn't open up to a lot of people about, like, the feminine things that I would enjoy. Like, I guess you could say, like, dolls and, I don't know, just fashion.
Yeah.
So I would, later on when I did come out, that's when it really, like, was easier for me to, like, make friends because I wasn't so worried about myself, if that makes sense.
I feel like also it was... like, you weren't hiding anymore.
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't a matter
It's very liberating.
I feel like even when I was, like, younger, like, when I was in... I feel like I came out in, I think... no, I did. I came out in middle school. And I remember before I had come out, like, I had a very small group of friends in middle school.
Yeah.
And then I just, like... I think at one point I was just like, I don't care. Like, I want to feel comfortable. So I would just, like, talk... Though I don't know how to really explain, like, the lunch tables in middle school, but it was like the boys would sit at one table, the girls would sit at another table, and then you had like
so
my
separated.
friends. Yeah, had, like, and it was literally like full, like, 2 picnic tables worth.
Damn.
So like all the boys would sit here, all the girls would sit here, and then like me and like my 5 or 6 friends would all sit in like this corner area. And I remember one day I was like, I'm going to go sit by the girls.
Yeah.
And I remember all the boys looked at me when I was sitting next to them. And they were all looking at me and they were whispering. They were definitely like, oh, this boy is gay.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, and what about it?
Yeah.
And I talked to and that was like when I started making like close friends with like girls in middle school.
I hate when people use like, even when growing up, like, why do you use an identity as a negative thing to call somebody? Like, oh my God, you're so gay. Like,
okay, yeah.
Okay. And what's so bad about a gay person? Like,
I feel like also we didn't, growing up at least, like I had representation in the form of like seeing white families in TV shows and seeing white like families in movies.
Yeah.
But there were no like gay people in movies.
I had to be that for myself for sure.
And even now, like it's still there are people who are like, oh, this is controversial. I don't want my kids watching that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like now, there are kids who are more understanding. But growing up, it was like we viewed gay as bad because, well, not like bad, but we viewed it as an insult because one, we heard it being used as insults by people around us.
Yeah.
At least I know I did.
Yeah, me too.
And then on top of that, it's like you don't see any representation in the media.
Yeah.
So it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, the only things I'm seeing about gay people and hearing about gay people is like negative.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he's so gay. Like, yeah, I took that as an insult when I was younger because it was like, oh my God.
It's the only thing that you really
know about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh my God, you're
now
so
that
gay.
I can like express
true.
myself and really get into who I am as a person. Now you understand what it was.
Yeah, and now people are like, oh, you're so gay. And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, are you? Like,
no, when people call me gay, I'm like, thank you, babe.
I'm like, let me sip on this tea.
Right. Because it seems that we have a lot more self-discovery than you do. Not that it's a bad thing that you don't, but I mean, hey.
I feel like a lot of the times, too, the people, at least in my opinion, and I'm going to make this very, very clear, I feel that, like, men, because men sexualize women, they're okay with like lesbians, but because gay men sexualize other men, they don't like it.
No, yeah.
And like with women, I feel like because gay men, especially like feminine gay men,
they go against everything that I guess
like
is
macho masculine men would be like, oh, you're not a man. Like, be a man.
They go against all masculinity, and that's the reason why they feel so afraid of them.
Yes, because
they're literally the opposite.
We don't conform to like their idea of what masculine is.
So yeah, anybody who is queer that expresses themselves, like we get a lot of hate, mainly because people they want to be us, but you know, I
literally was about to be like, a lot of the times I was going to say those men are closeted.
They are. And even if they aren't closeted, it's just like, no matter what, we are the definition of how to express yourself.
And also at the same time, I feel that men who are afraid to hug and show affection to other men, you're a homo. Sorry. I mean that in the nicest, most loving way possible, but like, let's be honest here. The only reason you would view hugging your friend as like, oh, this is so gay, I don't want to do that, is because there's something internalized deep inside you that's like, oh, this is gay, gay is bad, and I can't do that because like, what if I like it? Yeah. Bitch, the problem is you do like it. Like, go suck a dick and shut up.
No, literally. But yeah, you said that you heard like all those kind of like slurs being used towards people as like a negative thing. For me, like the friends that I grew up with, they kind of sheltered me from that. But
it's like once you were on like the internet and like
yeah, I experienced it down. But I don't know. I used to get mad at my friends all the time because they would disinclude me from certain situations, and I just lacked the knowledge that some of the people that they were hanging out with didn't like me solely for my existence, which just is sad. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad that I have learned my self-worth to not like be friends with those people or tolerate that behavior. But it's like really hard to, I guess, get out of the habit of tolerating people who are afraid of you as a person.
That and also people who are afraid to introduce you to other people, not because they don't accept you, but because those other people they know won't accept you.
Yes.
And they're afraid of how that will make them look.
No, yeah.
Like, babe, rest assured, no one's looking at you.
No one, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, when we're all just expressing ourselves unapologetically, it's like, that's really the end goal.
My whole thing is like, in my head at least, why would you want to be friends with a hating ass bitch?
Yeah,
like, let's be real.
Literally.
Like, I
want to be
sorry.
friends with people who make me feel good.
And here's my thing. It's like,
if you're unapologetically queer, I cannot say unapologetically.
I can't say a lot of words.
Yeah. But like, if you are like scream it queer, I want to be friends with you mainly because you are the person that like stops the room.
That's literally like, and
I like that feeling. Honestly, I like the feeling
like,
of going against
watching.
society. I like the feeling of being myself, if that makes sense.
And that's what's like crazy. It's like how we can, just by like being ourselves, like make heads turn. Which is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, whether you like us or not, all eyes are on us. Sorry, babe. Like, we like I like the attention.
For sure. Yeah. And I think like, when I gained that support and attention, I really learned that people are really vile towards trans people, but there is also like a lot of support. And there's also a difference between, I guess, like pleasing the cis ear versus like being unapologetic when it comes to talking about your struggles with discrimination. There's a difference between, you know, I guess saying how you experience your discrimination in a way where it doesn't upset other people, because sometimes it can, which is weird because it's like you're forcing me through this just because I'm existing.
And I'm like expressing to you why a certain thing you say or do is making me feel this way.
But people lack empathy for trans people and queer people in general because, I don't know, there's just like a stigma towards us. Where
I know why. As Candace Owens said, where's the H? Where's the H in LGBTQIA?
Yeah.
Where is the H? Where's the real inclusion?
They definitely feel unincluded.
Like, I'm sorry you guys aren't cool. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry you guys are so boring.
You're not in the community, babe.
Like, I'm sorry that you are so boring and you have a white picket fence and you have 2 kids that you didn't want to have in the first place. And I'm sorry that you're homophobic and weird. And you know what's crazy to me? Like, you sit there and you're probably one of the most like homophobic people out there, and it's like you sit there and you're like, oh, men shouldn't wear dresses, this, that, and the third, yada 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 yada. Yeah. And then you're like, where's the H? Bitch, there's a reason the H isn't in there, and it's to prevent people like you from entering.
Because you conform to society.
And we don't, babe. Like, I'm
we
sorry.
We don't care.
That H,
we want to be happy.
That H can remain over there, babe, because we don't want it. I mean, we love you straight people. Well, not all of you.
Oh, I love the allies.
I love allies.
Ally.
See, LGBTQIA. A, asexual, or A, ally. Well, before we do leave, I do want to ask you one question. Do you have any upcoming projects that you want to talk about or share your social media handles?
I do not open up on my social media like in depth very often, but I'm going to mainly on my YouTube.
Ooh.
Yes. I want to get back into like long form content because a long time ago I was getting into that, but nonetheless, it's going to happen now. So go to my YouTube.
What is it?
Veondre Mitchell. VeondreMitchell.
My username on everything is Spencewuah. V, it was a pleasure having you here. And I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for just like rambling with me and catching up.
Of course. It felt really good.
Yeah. And if you want to watch this podcast happening live and in person and you want to see these cute plushies that me and V have, because V brought them, go to the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel and subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you hate me, and like we've been through this. I love you guys. Like,
why are you
need
watching and not subscribing. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna watch, you might as well subscribe. You might. Oh yeah, and it's podcasts, new episodes released every Thursday on all audio streaming platforms. I love you guys. Please be safe. We love you.
Love you.
Bye, guys. Look, When someone is exceptionally good at what they do, whether it's a chef or, let's be honest, my hairstylist, you know you're in good hands. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more doctor roulette or dark web explanations for your sore throat. With ZocDoc and the free app that millions of users rely on, you can find the right doctor who meets your needs and fits in your schedule. Go to ZocDoc.com/screaming and download the ZocDoc app for free.